Liberty, liberty. Macho men. Let's listen.
Mr. Denson, he's now described to me what problems he had with you. Can you tell me what problems you had with him?
I wasn't being facetious when I said what I did. I know it's not my business. It's a culture of what person being jealous of another.
What was, okay. You think he's jealous of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And what happened is, that we didn't have the money. That's a lie. We didn't tell him we didn't have the money. I don't want to get into details, but someone fraudulently...
Details is what I specialize in. So at any point, who decides that this has to end? It's a month-to-month tenancy. Who decides that it's going to end? Do you leave or do they tell you to leave? Which is it, Mr. Denson?
We left after my wife paid the rent for May. We left on May 5th. May 5th or May 6th after, because my wife had a conversation with Mrs. Rose and they had a disagreement, and I checked my wife into a hotel
because I chose not to return.
She chose not to return until I got a condo. I got a condo Mother's Day. I moved my wife into a condo Mother's Day. So I was gonna try to stay.
So you move out in May. How does it work? It's May 5th, and that's when you decide to leave. And what happens? Go ahead, Ms. Denson. You may speak. Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. What happened was I was at work, and Mrs. Solomon called me. She believed, and she can attest to this, that I had said to her she couldn't go into her bathroom. I think she was offended, and my friend called me at work. I could not respond, and I told her that. And she says, wait a minute, you're going to hear me. And I says, no, I can't. I'm being summoned at work, and I can't. I said, but you're mistaken. She said, this is my house. I can use any bathroom I want. I said, of course, I have a college degree. I'm an educator. You're my friend. This is your house. If you have to go to the bathroom, I wouldn't expect you to go upstairs. You can, of course, use this bathroom because I'm a very clean woman. And even when Mr. Solomon called my husband a Neanderthal, no, it was his juice, Your Honor. And she told me she didn't like it. She came to me about it. And I went to my husband and said, don't drink out of it because she does not want. He's not a Neanderthal for drinking out of something that's his. And we don't have to be rude and use this. We're Christians. We should not even be before this whole... Rosemary Solomon is my friend.
Mrs. Solomon, I haven't heard from you. Let me hear from you what you think the problem was. Do you also think it was the men, or do you think it was just everybody and it was a bad situation?
First of all, Your Honor, I want to thank you so much for being on this. Never have I been so in my life. But being here, I'm very hurt, disappointed. Me and Miss Denson, we get along great. Miss Denson and I, we talk, we pray. I pulled Miss Denson from a place she was. Mr. Denson was a very jealous, controlling man. Mr. Denson would disrespect his wife in front of me. There was a time I said, Mr. Denson, this is a place in this era, we don't do that. You've been in my home, you never heard me argue. What started? Mr. Denson was outside in the parking lot, cursing and yelling at his wife. I called Rena. I said, Rena, your husband cannot do this in this neighborhood. We don't do that. Mr. Denson also see a picture of my grandbaby in the living room. He began to call me, ask me, who was that? She's sexy. Her leg is long. She's pretty. I said, Mr. Denson, that's my grandbaby. My husband felt that Mr. Denson was been getting off and a picture he see of my grandbaby. Several times Mr. Denson called me. He said,
all right, hold on. I got it. I got the flavor. Let me just ask a question. You say we don't have to return the security deposit and we don't have to return half of May because there are damages. Now let's talk about your damages. Oil spots that you talked about. These oil spots, according to you, those were left by the plaintiff's car?
Yes, Your Honor, and that was left by the plaintiff's car. He drive on the lawn, he left it there.
Sprinkler system.
He broke the sprinkler system.
I'd like to see a picture of that broken sprinkler you talked about.
I have the water not coming up. One thing about being in Florida, it rains every day. I haven't changed it yet.
I live in Florida, and you don't need to live in Florida to know how sprinklers work. All I want is proof that there's a broken sprinkler. Do you have that?
So you could go there and take the picture. If you wait, you could go and take the picture.
You're not going to take a picture right now and bring it back.
Because I thought he sent it.
Yeah,
go bring it.
Right now. All right.
And can I finish talking? You want to be Miss Denson moved out my home on the 31st of May. On the 30th, I sent a picture on the 31st, the 30th of May. There was stuff in the room. Second of all, in the contract, it said each party should give each other 15 days notice. Your Honor, I don't care about the deposit. It's the principal. I didn't know they were moving. I called Miss Denson at work. I said, where you been, girl? I didn't see you. She said, well, we at my son, or we at a hotel. I said, well, what? You moved?
Okay. This is a picture that you have where you've put some little guy with a jug or something. I don't know what you got going on there. This is how the room looked when?
That was on the 31st of May, Your Honor, that they still have their stuff in the room. All their clothes was gone. I said you have 2 boxes with a jewel in a chair. I did not go in the room until May the 30th, 2020.
Can I ask you a question? This picture that I'm looking at right now that says new Range Rover, his present to himself. When did you get a new Range Rover, Mr. Denson?
A couple of weeks ago. Ma'am, can I say this? The police was called.
Can I ask you a question? You got a condo, you got a new Range Rover, and you filed this case as an indigent and didn't pay court costs. My hubby just picked up this BMW Z4, adding to his fleet. You got a fleet and you're filing as an indigent?
Well,
All right. Did you get that picture of that sprinkler? Let's see it. Oh, you brought the sprinkler out. Okay. So who ends up to getting, they get all their stuff out when?
The 31st of May.
Okay. So the pictures you took were before the 31st of May, or is that what they left?
On the 30th of May, I took those pictures, Your Honor. That was the first time I went in the room.
Okay. So they take the stuff out on the 31st.
She came, I called her, I say,
Yes or no? I just want a yes or a no. Did they take their stuff out? All right, so then why are you withholding $100 for cleaning?
for the room, Yo-Yo, my housekeeper, came over and she cleaned the room. We tore up the carpet because it was the bathroom and everything.
No, you need to listen to me. The only way you can keep $100 from a security deposit for cleaning is if you show me that you had to clean because of them, not that you cleaned. I would have cleaned too.
No, I sent
but
it to you,
you
Your
have to
Honor.
prove to me.
It's in there.
You got to
It's
stop
right here.
talking over me. Stop talking over me.
sorry.
You have to prove to me that they left it in a condition that required you to spend another $100. When I asked you about these pictures, you told me you took them on the 30th. If they left on the 31st, and I asked you, did they take their stuff? And you said yes. Show me pictures that show that they left something that would require it. Otherwise,
Your
no.
Honor, could I finish saying what I was saying? On the
When did you change the lock? No, I'm not interested. I want to know when you changed the locks. When did you change the locks?
I don't want to do it.
June the 1st.
Show me a receipt for the lock changing.
I ain't got time.
There you go, Your Honor.
Who changed the lock? You did?
Yes.
Okay, I see that you changed that you bought a lock on the 31st.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Denson, did you attempt to go back there to take either a bicycle or whatever else was left behind?
We moved, Your Honor, yes, we moved out on the 10th. The police was called to Mr. Rose. I have the police report. They went to the Solomon's house on the 10th, and they told Mr. Solomon she could not go in that room since she was not returning the monthly rent. We moved out of there on the 10th. The police recalled. We have a police
Can I
report.
see the
They went.
Let me see the police report.
You can't see it
We
because
can't see it
in
because
our items, and
everything
she
of
has
our
not
items
touched them.
was receipts.
So you don't have a police report to show me?
Because they.
Is that a yes or a no? Do you have a police report for me to look at?
I can get the case. I can get the case in 5 minutes. I can call the police precinct and get the police report.
You go ahead. You go call the precinct. Leave your wife here. That's great. You go try that.